Some carry hate. We carry the largest trans pride flag to ever be flown in a national park and unfurled it on the side of El Cap to prove a point that trans is natural. The Trump administration and transphobes would love to have you believe that being trans is unnatural, but species that can transition sexes can be found on every continent and in every ocean on planet Earth. So call it a protest, call it a celebration. We are bringing elevation to liberation. They try to erase us from government websites and education systems and libraries. So we raise this flag higher than ever before so every trans person knows that they have people that love them in their corner. The people united will never be defeated.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So we have a Yosemite park ranger who has been fired for climbing up the mountain and planting a trans flag in our beautiful national park. Now, this is probably one of my dream jobs. Great job to have. And now she's lost it, losing her job for pulling this stunt. So let's take a look. So this was the largest trans flag ever to be displayed at a national park. She certainly made a name for herself being responsible for this. Trans is natural. The Trump administration would love to have you believe that being trans is unnatural, and apparently there's species that change their sex. Well, that does not include human beings. The National Park Service reportedly fired a trans Yosemite National Park ranger who hung a transgender pride flag across the park's El Capitan rock formation in California earlier this year. Sharon S.J. Jocelyn, 35, wrote an Instagram post on Monday claiming to have been fired from the park, quote, for practicing my First Amendment right, end quote, after hanging the 55-foot by 35-foot flag across Yosemite's iconic rock destination in May. Jocelyn, who is non-binary and uses they-them pronouns, claimed to have raised the flag while off duty as a private citizen. Now, does she have a point about the First Amendment rights? Or do you have to abide by the rules while you're at work? So this is what she said. I was fired by the temporary deputy superintendent for failing to demonstrate acceptable conduct in my capacity as a wildlife biologist for the park. So she's a biologist. I wonder what she thinks about human biology and what makes one male and female. No part of hanging the flag was done on work time. Nothing about it had anything to do with my work. Now, I see that as a school teacher pulling a stunt like that after school hours and the kids discovering what the teacher did the following day. I mean, this is in a national park. So members of the public were going to see this trans flag, and it was put up by a national park employee. That has connotations regardless of whether it was done during work hours or outside of work hours. It's still something that members of the public are going to see in all its glory. And it was done by a park ranger, somebody who works there. You know, you can't really disconnect the two, no matter what hours it was done in. Just like if a school teacher was to do something on school premises after school hours, you know, it's still done by the teacher who works at the school. The woman who was fired, a flight attendant who was fired for filming, you know, a video, that wasn't done during work hours. But she was still fired because she's a flight attendant. She works for that airline, and everybody saw the video because it was posted online.
She's the flight attendant whose twerking cost her dream job.
I didn't think that, you know, being so happy can turn into something like this.
Nell Diallo was having a great time dancing and twerking in the aisle on an empty plane before an early morning flight.
I decided to just take advantage of the moment to wake myself up and kind of get myself like hyped up for my day, basically.
She posted the video on TikTok along with the caption, "What's wrong with a little twerk before work?" But after the video went viral, she says Alaska Airlines fired her. What did they say to you?
They just said that I broke their social media policy.
Similarly, everyone's going to see this flag that you planted as somebody who works for the national park. So I don't really see how you could try and separate the two. Jocelyn flew the flag for about 2 hours before taking it down and added that after decades of the practice, No one had ever been punished for hanging a flag across El Capitan prior to last week. I want my rights and I want my career back, Jocelyn said. So, I feel bad for the woman because she's lost her job. It's a good job. I would love to do something like that. I'm not a biologist though, but I know the difference between male and females. So, if she does pursue maybe challenging the decision, she could argue it's her First Amendment rights, perhaps. She could argue that it was outside of work hours and that, other flags have been flown. Now, if it was a flag with a Bible scripture on it, John 3:16, who knows, would she be as staunch a defender of flying flags if it was a flag with a Bible scripture on it? But I find with these radical leftists, they like to pick and choose when they're for First Amendment rights. If somebody was to misgender her, would she be all for First Amendment rights in that situation? Or would she demand that people use preferred pronouns? I'm curious. In a statement to Fox News Digital, Rachel Paulitz, a spokesperson for the National Park Service, said the National Park Service was pursuing administrative action against some Yosemite National Park employees, though she did not specify the details of these actions. However, we want to emphasize that we take the protection of the park's resources and the experience of our visitors very seriously, and will not tolerate violations of laws and regulations that impact those resources and experiences. She added that in 2024, several unauthorized demonstrations at El Capitan drew countless complaints from visitors and emphasized that to safeguard the protection of visitors, visitor experiences and park resources, most demonstrations require a permit. Jocelyn partnered with a coalition known as Trans is Natural to hang the flag in protest of the Trump administration pushing back on transgender and LGBTQ ideology. When you're protesting in a public place, you do require a license, according to this statement. Raising this flag in the heart of El Capitan is a celebration of our community standing in solidarity with each other and all targeted groups, Jocelyn said in a statement to NBC at the time. Trans existence is not up for debate. We are social workers, public servants, parents and neighbours. Being trans is a natural, beautiful part of human and biological diversity. We can only make progress when we embrace diversity, not erase it. Yet this is a movement that relies on people having surgeries and all sorts of medications that goes against what their body produces naturally in order to transition. Yet they claim that it's natural, when in reality, nature seems to be offensive to them. Shortly after the demonstration, the park's acting superintendent, Ray McPadden, signed a directive banning any banner, flag or sign larger than 15 square feet, or a series of combination of banners, flags or signs that total more than 15 square feet, from being displayed without a permit. It was the size of this flag as well that was the issue. So look, to be fair, there have been other protests using flags, such as the upside-down American flag. It was on the side of El Capitan to protest layoffs by President Donald Trump, where 1,000 newly hired National Park Service employees were fired. Maybe don't stage an activist demonstration in a national park by hanging an enormous, politically and ideologically divisive flag that obstructs the natural view for visitors. People go to Yosemite to get away from this kind of intrusive political signaling. Exactly. Perhaps this is an excellent reminder to all activists that breaking the law has consequences. I am a rock climber. I got banned from R-climbing on Reddit in response to someone saying the flag was only up for a couple of hours. I asked if it would be okay to put up a MAGA flag for a couple of hours. Park ranger in Yosemite sounds like a kick-ass job to throw it all away. Crazy. So, let me know what you think. Do you think this is a First Amendment rights issue? It was only 2 hours. There have been other protests at the national park. Is that something that you would want to see when you're out hiking with your kids? Let me know in the comments below. So thanks for watching. Like, comment and subscribe. Take care of yourselves, and God willing, I will see you in the next video.